Hey there folks, I'm Dan Brown from Sort of Interesting, and this is a much requested video that I've been asked to do a lot, and it is basically just a few of the general basic boating terms. Now it's got to be said, there aren't that many that you're going to use in regular conversation, so we'll dive straight in and we'll go to the most obvious ones first that you've probably heard. The bow is obviously the front of the boat, and opposite to that, the stern is the back end. Now there's a few different types of stern. This here on Tilly is a cruiser stern, and that basically means it's just a big open space at the back. So obviously you can have a lot more people out here on the business end of the boat. A traditional stern would be what you see on a lot of, well, I suppose traditional narrowboats, to use the same word again. And a traditional stern is where you've got a very small amount of space at the back to stand on. And there's also the semi-traditional sterns, which are sort of a halfway house between both. So you can say it's either a large traditional stern or a very small cruiser stern, but it's sort of somewhere in the middle. Now the other things that you sort of commonly associate with boats are port and starboard. Port is the left hand side of the boat, which I am on now, and starboard is obviously then by definition the right. And well, you may see that I'm walking down this little step on the side of the boat that goes right the way around until you get to the back, and this is called the gunnel. There's a few different pronunciations I've heard. I believe it's spelt gun whale. Some people call it the gunnel run, or sometimes I have once upon a time heard it called the gun wall, which I think is where the name comes from. But yeah, so that's what the little step at the side of the boat is called. The stick that you use to steer it with at the back is called the tiller. Now on Tilly it's just a straight tiller, but obviously you've seen a lot more sort of ornamental decorated tillers with the swan neck shape, which is referred to, well, rather handily as the swan neck. When we come out to the side of the boat here, you can see that there's obviously a line that the water comes up to, which is amazingly known as the water line. Now that's obviously a very obvious one, but the draft and the air draft are based on the waterline, and the draft is basically how much of the boat there is below the waterline, and the deepest part of that should in theory be at the very back of the boat, and just at the bottom of the tiller there's obviously the rudder, and then below the rudder is a little metal bar that obviously stops it all falling straight onto the bottom of the canal, and that's known as the skeg, which in theory that would be the lowest point of the boat, and therefore your maximum draft would be measured from that point to the waterline. Then the air draft is obviously the opposite, which is the amount of boat above the waterline to the highest point on the boat. So here it would be this part. Obviously if I didn't have that it would be the other chimney, or maybe the lights if there was no chimney at all. I suppose really that's the main ones that you'll come across. Obviously something like the hull is self-explanatory, that is pretty much the boat itself, or certainly the boat part that you associate with being a boat. The things that some people do find confusing is the term berth. Now if you're talking about berths on a boat, then that's obviously referring to how many people can sleep on the boat. But if you're talking about berths in a marina, then that's how many boats a marina can hold. But I suppose on that note, as there's another boat coming, I'll wrap things up. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, make sure you like the Facebook page, and well, until the next time, keep it canal side, and I'll see you around soon. Farewell.